Nerdrotic.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Will you be my Nooner? I hope everybody is having a wonderful hump day. We have got so much to talk about, yet so little to talk about. But that never stops me. I've never had a problem not talking about something. I guess that is why I'm here on YouTube. I wish my pappy was alive to see that my constant gibbering that used to annoy the hell out of him amounted to something for a little while at least. Welcome, everybody. Let's see who we have here. Oh boy, my microphone is now blocking the screen. Oh, I don't want to do that either. According to Christy and her wrench, hello, Mutated Genome, Cheed D, Cracklin, Mark Santos, Z. Duravko, Jeff Summers, PH Junior 5534, Liberal Autist, Chris Persia and his wrench, one of the best wrenches on the planet, and he's from Canada, even though he's from Canada. We have Sporking News Podcast, who just hit 500 subscribers. Congratulations, my friend. We'll put the link to your channel in the chat. I would love to see him get to 1,000 by Friday. I'm going to give him a shout out as well. He is a brother in recovery. Sorry, I blew your anonymity there, buddy. But a friend and part of the Fourth Wave podcast with some fine gentlemen over there. We have Erez and Cash Kester, Proud American. Lobo Cop 69, Flashy Vic, Roberto Prazos, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name, John Matrix, Dan Kilroy, Mr. Duck, and I cannot pronounce Sheriffine, and everybody else. And, Robot Rob Shlomo. What's up, buddy? My whole family is used to tell me to shut up, and now there's people who actually want to hear what I have to say. Take that! Exactly. Listening to Nerdrotic in bed, says Michael Coney. So, do you want me to go a little ASMR? Hi, Michael. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Today we're going to discuss the Fandom Menace and Star Trek Picard and Doctor Who's ratings and the big picture of fandom. Fandom is under attack again by the Access media, and we're also getting attacked from within by other fans who claim they are out for other fans attacking other fans. I don't know how you work that logic out in your head, but we're going to try to figure it out ourselves right here on the Nerdrotic Nooner. So, yes. I did not see the Sonic movie, but I bought 2 tickets. I honestly am not a Sonic fan. I'm not a kid of the 90s, but Jeff Fowler is one of my favorite people in Hollywood now. And we're going to talk about some of the good people in Hollywood. The Lauren Hissriches, the Seth MacFarlanes, the Jeff Fowlers, the ones, the Naren Shankar. There are good fandoms out there that aren't split, that have good communities, good fan bases. They're all over the place. This is fandom, folks. It's always been like this. It'll always be like this. The one thing that has changed is that were cool. The geeks have inherited the earth for the time being, and now the normies are involved, and typical normie fare gets involved, like partisan politics, which has brought in more divides than ever in fandom. But they've always been there. There's always been arguing. There's always been fighting. I'm not really sure if there's been major groups of ists or phobes within fandom, because quite frankly, pop culture is, it's art. So it's not really something that they really like. I don't know. I don't know how you work. Again, I don't know how people work out their logic about this. People, when I criticize the Watchmen show, I'm criticizing a television show. A television show that really is basic, on the nose, partisan politics, and it tried to compare itself with its source material, which is one of the greatest comic book series ever written, that was highly political, yet both sides read it and enjoyed it. Why? Well, because we know where Alan Moore comes from politically. That's no secret. No, everybody knows, he's a wizard, for Christ's sake. Yet, they still found the story enjoyable. And that's what we need to talk about. Because the character of Rorschach was not the kind of person you wanted to sit down and have a cup of coffee with, but he was an engaging character that you had sympathy for, despite his flaws, because the writer, who was a person of talent, a POT, wrote him in a way that made you like him, because he put his heart and soul. He gave that character layers. And that's your difference. What's the difference between Damon Lindelof and Alan Moore? We don't need to, you don't have to write theses on this. It's one word: talent. Talent. That's it. So yeah. And, you can check out my Watchmen live streams on Nerdrotic Live. We covered it on the Inquisition, and got a lot of blowback for it. And, it's part of the territory. Didn't bother me any. So, where are we going to start? Okay, well, let's start with Star Trek Picard as I drink my coffee. By the way, I would like to thank all the kids at Pete's who work there, and they're kids. I'm old. That is one of they look like they're having fun working at a coffee shop. It's a great crew. I see the same people there, so it's not high turnover. Some of them watch the show. Some of them might be watching now. Hail. This particular cup is filled with crack. It is, man, there's a lot of caffeine in this son bitch. Woo. And it's nice and hot. Yes, RL, you caught a live stream. As people roll in. I don't know if anybody's getting notifications or not. And it's okay. It's all right. As you guys may or may not know, all of these live streams will be unlisted afterwards and go over to Nerdrotic Live. I'll try to do it as quick as possible. I forgot. I need to hit, let's see. This will probably help a lot too if I record it as well. I always forget to record it. I don't want to rely on YouTube. YouTube takes a while to process the live streams, and I don't like waiting for the MP4s to be finished. So Star Trek Picard. We got another episode tonight, which I will be covering live. They have been dropping it at about 11:15 my time, which is doable, so I'm not up that late. So I'll be able to cover it tonight, and if you want to join me, or if you want to wait till the next day, those live streams I keep on the channel. They stay on the channel, and we'll see if it gets any better. Quite frankly, it's not very good to me. The reason it's not very good, it's different than Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery is bad on a completely different level, but it suffers from some of the same problems. Paper-thin characters. The major difference is you have Sir Patrick Stewart, who is a very, I love him as an actor, and he does the best he can. but the dialogue is terrible. I'm not really sure I'm into the story very much. If it was one thing, I'd probably be into it more. If it was like just the Borg and you wanted to use them as an allegory for whatever, sure, fine. But it seems like I've said before, it feels like they had two concepts that they kind of mushed into one, and there's too much going on, yet there's nothing going on. There's no characterization. I don't give a crap about any of these other characters, and it doesn't look like they're going to give us much more. We're only 4 episodes in, but what I've noticed, I've covered, 30, 35 television shows on this channel over the last 5 years. And I've done episodic reviews. And with a new series, especially one that's released weekly, it's different if it's streaming. So we're not counting Altered Carbon or The Witcher in this. But with a weekly series, people generally are in or out by the 4th episode. And it just seems like Picard has stalled out. Now, we have no way of proving this. The only analytics firm out there that says anything, and it's erroneous, is Parrot Analytics. Parrot Analytics uses impressions. So if somebody says, "I love Baby Yoda" on Twitter, they count that as basically a view. And I can tell you I can't prove this, but I'm pretty positive that I think more soccer moms are on social media talking about Baby Yoda than there's more of them than actual people who watch the show. So that's why Mandalorian is rated higher than The Witcher, which is utterly ridiculous because there's 140 million subscribers on Netflix and there's like 25 or 30 on Disney Plus. So it's mathematically impossible. There's more people watching The Witcher. But there's a lot of people talking about Baby Yoda. So Star Trek Picard is ranked 4th. And that's just based on social media impressions. It seems to me now, I've been shown a bunch of Google Trend graphics that show a major dip after the first episode. And I can believe that. I believe in the second episode, I think it was the second episode, wherein Zhaban was talking to Picard and he said, "Hey, why don't you go get Geordi and Riker and Worf?" And Picard goes, "No, we can't do that because I don't want to get them in any trouble. They're too loyal. We need people who hate me." Okay. I think a lot of people went, "What? I thought we were going to get a TNG reunion." Because these are normies. They're not paying attention to this. They see Picard. They're expecting to see the crew. And when they found out the crew wasn't really going to be in this show, they're like, "Wait a minute. I saw Riker in the trailer. I saw Data in the trailer. Where are they? Who are all these new people?" It's almost like they pitched a show. CBS said no. And they said, "What if we add Picard?" Okay. And we'll introduce this new crew and maybe we can get another spin-off off of that. Who knows? Who knows? All I know is it's taken 4 episodes for them to get the crew together. And if it was like a 20 episode, a 15 episode season, okay, but it's 10. So we're almost halfway through the first season and we're finally going to see Bruce Maddox. I don't know who's going to play Bruce Maddox. I'm guessing he might not even be alive, or we'll find out. But I think Mrs. Nerdrotic said it best. Now, she enjoyed the first episode of Picard, and I don't think she's as much of a stickler for things as I am when it comes to TV. So she was mildly enjoying it. She thought it was good, but now she's completely dipped out. She's like, "It's boring." That was her one-word review. It's boring. Not filled with identity politics, or it doesn't feel like Star Trek or this or that. It's just boring. And that's the best way to describe it right now. Dialogue sucks. It's moving incredibly slow. None of that. The slip and slide scene was laughable. So I did laugh out loud for that, but it's generally just kind of boring. It's not as bad as Star Trek Picard. And if there are people out there who are enjoying it, man, rock on. Have fun. But they're seeing... one thing I noticed was... and I've noticed this with a few channels. And, I watch a lot of YouTube. And I find a lot of it entertaining, especially people who go out and go, all they are is negative. All these people are, they just want to hate Picard and they're negative. So instead of maybe talking positively about Picard and spending a video telling people how much you love it, or creating a live stream in a space where people can come and enjoy Picard, you say you enjoy Picard and then you talk about other people not enjoying Picard. I'm wondering if, should I do a live stream based on people liking Picard? No, that'd be very boring. Be very boring. It's the logic of the internet though. So there you go. We'll see. It could get good. Sure. We've got 6 episodes left and it could turn in some of the best TV ever. Alex Kurtzman co-wrote the last episode with 3 other people. So that seems like a lot of writers for one TV show. And especially when it's an overarching plot, and that's the, big difference of it. And again, there's concepts in there that I probably could find interesting, but they're just not executed well. Now, as far as there being a bias against Kurtzman, of course, I've watched Star Trek Discovery. I know what to expect. It would be an outlier. It would be a surprise to get something good, but it could happen. It certainly could. Not likely, but it could. Do it. Let's go to the chat here a little bit. What's up, Meme Graveyard? The Meme Graveyard. We're also going to discuss the Fandom Menaces in the title, because there was a hashtag out there for a while after The Fall of Skywalker came out. The Fandom Menace was right. And it's been debated on what they were right about. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the individual YouTuber or Instagrammer or Twitter account. You got to apply it to that. I think the way I interpret it, which could be wrong, but I don't think so, is the big picture. They were right about the big picture. As far as leaks and all that other stuff, I don't know about all that. The only leaks I talked about were the Jedi Praxis leaks, and specifically how they pertained to the Emperor. And those, by the way, those did turn out to be right. So, but I don't know if Jedi Praxis is Fandom Menace or freaking George Lucas or J.J. Abrams or who. I don't know. But those are the only ones I discussed at all. And it was just how they related to the plot of the story. Well, plot of the story. And how much it ruined Star Wars, and it destroyed Luke Skywalker's story, and it destroyed Anakin's story. And yeah, the Fandom Menace was absolutely right about that. I figure when I read those leaks, I'm like, if this happens in the story, it really undermines everything that came before, and it did. It's ruined my pleasure of Star Wars, even older Star Wars. Now that might fade away someday, but right now I could care less. Like I've said it before, Star Wars is completely ruined for me. Mandalorian could be the greatest show in the world. It takes place in a world I could give 2 shits about. Because what? The Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Awesome. Ewan McGregor's coming back, and he's going to be babysitting a guy who's going to give up on his family and quit and slink off to an island. Mope. Okay, that's really great. I'm not looking forward to that at all. So, if people want to enjoy it, that's great. I'll probably skip it. I'd rather see something new. Altered Carbon is coming out on the 27th. I covered that show here when it came out. I freaking loved it. And hopefully it will continue its greatness. It had some flaws, especially towards the end, but it looked good. And it looks like they're bringing back Edgar Allan Poe, who plays a holographic artificial intelligence hotel, which will be interesting. He was one of my favorite characters. It will be minus Joel Kinnaman, which, I mean, we'll see how it does without him. But it's got Anthony Mackie, who's a good actor. So it looks pretty good. I saw the trailer yesterday. I think Netflix needs to get better at promoting their shit because they suck at it. I found out from another YouTuber that Lock and Key was on. I've seen the first 3 episodes of Lock and Key, and I like it. I think it's pretty good. It's not the greatest thing ever made. The kid actors they're kid actors, especially the main one. But it's not filled with identity politics. It's a story. It's just a story. I think they've dialed back on the creepiness. I think they could have dialed up the creepiness a little more, but they didn't. And we'll see how it plays out. Again, I've only seen 3 episodes, and so far I'm liking it. And I might even do a review on it if I ever finish it. Yeah. You say Lock and Key was meh. Yeah, and it could certainly go that way. We got to see how it plays out. Now, as far as the comic book is concerned, yes, the comic book was meh. A lot of people loved it, and I thought it was just okay. But man, IDW, they need this. They need this to be a massive hit, or they're in trouble. I don't know if you followed their adventures, but they are just buried in debt. But they own a couple of IPs that might get made. Well, one is getting made into a show, obviously, and it needs to be a massive hit or they're done. It's over. And I don't think Lock and Key is a massive hit because I don't think a lot of people heard about it. Luke in the expanded universe lost his wife, both of his nephews, countless Jedi students, and he never bitched and ran away from duty, says Anthony R. Yep, and that's why, I mean, we could just choose to think about that Luke and not Disney Star Wars Luke. Jake Skywalker, as they like to say. Yeah, they buried it. So the Fandom Menace was right. The Fandom Menace, I'll use I statements. I'm not going to say I was right. I had an opinion. My opinion was that The Last Jedi fundamentally destroyed Star Wars, and it would erode the fan base, and it would lead to diminished returns. And that's exactly what happened. The Fall of Skywalker, the end of the Skywalker saga, should have been a $2 billion movie. It should have done as well as Endgame, but it didn't. It did half as well. Now, it shows the strength of that brand, and quite frankly, Star Wars, I think people like the idea of Star Wars more than they actually like Star Wars itself, because if you think about it, beyond the expanded universe at this point, there's more bad than good. And the expanded universe doesn't count anymore, at least to Disney, which is a damn shame and one of the dumbest things they've ever done. But it's done. Damage is done. I've already done a video on that there will be no changing that now. So they're going to have to create a whole new universe and start from scratch. And maybe they pull it off. And maybe in the future, Star Wars fans will be happy. Now, there's already Star Wars fans who are happy. The ones who will just, gobble up anything they put out because it says Star Wars on it. And believe me, that's the vast majority of fandom. At the shop, there was a time where superhero fans were comic book fans, and that's not the case anymore. Comic book fans are the minority now. Now there's superhero fans who've never read a comic. There are like hardcore Spider-Man fans who have never read a Spider-Man comic or have read a couple of them. Unthinkable, 2 decades ago, but that's where we're at now. Jedi Chemo says episodes 7, 8, and 9 are canon, and the Fandom Menace was dead wrong. Now just hold this little, and then he puts a clown. Jedi Chemo, I never said 7, 8, and 9 weren't canon, and because they're canon, the Fandom Menace was dead right. Was right. We said it would be a disaster, and it was. Are you calling this a success? Man, if you consider this a success, I'd hate to be your partner. Oh, but that's so edgy using the clown. Yeah, man, that's just so original. Expanse was good. Bop flop, Star Wars down, Doctor Who snooze, Star Trek a mess, Sonic up. Yes. Yeah. we have been saying for a long time, again, this is just a hashtag filled with individuals. We all have varying opinions on Star Wars. There are some who said the Fandom Menace was right about the leaks. Honestly, I think that one is debatable. I think that one's debatable. But the big picture, like I said before, we said it was going to hurt the brand. It hurt the brand. And it's diminished to Transformers status. And Baby Yoda gave it a little bump, and that's great. But right now, Kenobi is canceled. Now, it will come back in some form or another. Ewan McGregor is still around. They're rewriting scripts. I just watched an interview where he said they're currently rewriting the scripts. But they lost their entire crew. Now, I don't know if they had built sets. If they built sets and they're going to have to strike those and get rid of them and repurpose them, they just doubled their budget for the show. They're going to have to hire new crew because that old crew, a lot of them are going to take other jobs and go and do other things. And I got a very interesting perspective on this when I walked the set of the Orville. I've done a couple set visits of the Orville. I was nice enough to be allowed to go check it out. That's where I got my little beanie. And I can't give details, but I saw like how many studios they took up, how much work goes into it. So it's impossible to just shut down a show, change it midstream, and think you can fire it back up again. I mean, it would take a year. You have to rent out studio space. You have to hire hundreds of people, carpenters and all that, build the sets. And if you're rewriting the scripts and it's a complete rewrite, then you got to repurpose those sets and sometimes completely get rid of them. It depends on the situation. But shutting Kenobi down after you hired a crew and were about to get going, that is incompetence on a whole new level. So the scripts must have been horrific. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out if the new ones are better. I'm not saying we're never going to get Kenobi. I think we'll get it at some point. Supposedly they're going to shoot at the beginning of next year, and we'll see if that happens. Bob Ross ain't got nothing on your thumbnail. Aw, thanks, Sporking News Podcast, for $2. I appreciate that. Yeah, I made my thumbnail live on my Patreon prior to the Nooner. I was on Patreon doing a little pre-Nooner with you guys. And yeah, there's not much to it. But I have fun making them. Thank you. Anthony R. for $10. If you had any positive takeaways from JJ's movies, what would it be? I actually liked the opening of the 2009 film and the opening of Star Trek Beyond. Other than that, those movies are meh. I think 2009 Star Trek is JJ's best movie. When it came out, I still think by itself, it's enjoyable. I hate what it does to canon, but I never really counted that. For some reason in my head, I never counted it. But I thought the cast was great. I thought Carl Urban as Bones was freaking spot on. And I like the music in it. And I didn't have a real problem with that movie. It's what it did to Star Trek. And that's JJ's inability to follow through on stuff. Now, I always hear that it's not his fault. It's somebody else's fault who didn't see his vision. Midnight's Edge has reported that a lot of it had to do with the licensing. Like they wanted to squash all the other licensing, so it was exclusive JJ Trek licensing. Now, that is JJ's fault. There is no reason they couldn't have had both of them going at the same time. One might have outsold the other, and that's too bad, and maybe, they would hurt their little egos. But if you're going to recast Kirk and Spock, you should commit to, that's what people were expecting. People were expecting 6 or 7 movies out of this every couple of years. And they got delayed and they took time and then they became big stars. And that's why after the movie came out, I'm like, this is great, but I don't know how they can continue this. And Star Trek is made for television. It is made for television. So it became one of the highest grossing, or if not the highest grossing Star Trek movie. So it worked. It worked. And it was that success that boned Star Trek for the next decade. Because you had a guy who has a propensity to bail on projects to go on to his next project because he's got the attention span of a gnat on meth. And unfortunately, it didn't work. But, the lens flares and, the Dutch angles in the first movie, that never bothered me that much. It's what it's done. And now it's an old aesthetic. It's tired. It's a decade old and they're still using it. Because the people behind Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery have proven that they're not really that groundbreaking in their creativity, we'll say. They like to borrow, steal, in my opinion, pay homage, instead of being Star Trek. Star Trek has to move forward. I don't really go to Star Trek to get dark and gritty, though. So if that's the direction it wants to move, that's the prerogative of the showrunners, and it is my prerogative to criticize it. But I would highly recommend you watch The Expanse. If you want to watch sci-fi like that, they really do take the time to try to get their science right. They think, they go as far as to the way they design their ships are based in science. It's based in, again, I'm not a scientist, but gravity, that plays a big thing into it. Speed, you're doing a fast burn. They have to take the juice because the body can only take so many G's, and they factor that in. These ships don't have artificial gravity inside. They are subject to, when they move fast, you can get splattered on a wall if a ship turns too quick and you're not strapped in, or a wrench could take, or they had, what was it? A rail gun blew a guy's head off. It's stuff like that. That's really cool. And it gets heavily political. It's a very political show, but it does it in such a way that it engages you and doesn't alienate you. And again, there's only one word that defines people who can do that and people who can't do that. Talent. That's it. Naren Shankar is the showrunner for The Expanse. If he was running Star Trek, it would be better. But I don't think he would go to Star Trek. Why would he? He would be saddled with Star Trek canon that's already screwed up beyond belief, and he's got his own thing. And I watched their panel at New York Comic Con, and he said The Expanse canon is much more intricate than Star Trek canon. And if you watch the show, you'll know why. Max Mercer says The Expanse does alienate. Who? Max? It might alienate some. It doesn't alienate me. Let's go. Anthony R., thank you for the $10. Matt G. for $2. Congrats on Nerdrotic Live hitting 18,000 subs. Oh, thanks, Matt G. Yeah. It had a good month, despite getting hit by some weird bot because we did an exozone over there. I don't know if it was the exozone that did it or not, but I had live streams here, and I plant all my live streams over there when they're done, and they're unlisted here, but they're still. I never bother to take them off monetization. Nobody's going to see it. It doesn't really matter because once it's unlisted, but it could if whether you're unlisted or not. That's why when pro tip. Before you post a video, you put it up to private for a little while, and you see if the YouTube algorithm will demonetize your video or not, and then you can find out what you need to change. And I had videos demonetized over on Nerdrotic Live that were monetized over on Nerdrotic, which was weird. It's almost like they give priority to channels with more subs, maybe. But it's also a learning algorithm. So you have to fight it every time they demonetize it. And then eventually the algorithm learns that you won't put up stuff that's generally, I don't know, too salty for advertisers or not. And they're not as harsh as you think, as long as you're not dropping F-bombs. And now there are certain things you cannot say or talk about that are harmless that I have a problem with. Lobo Cop 69. 10 PLNs. I see Witcher and Nerdrotics. I toss. Toss a coin to your Witcher. Awesome. If I wanted dark violence, I would read and watch Warhammer 40K, not Star Trek. Yes, and it's done. Yeah. If you want any of that, I'd read A Song of Ice and Fire. If I want freaking Game of Thrones, I'll read A Song of Ice and Fire. Which I have been. Finish the book, George. Bio 1656 has donated $2 to the channel. I thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Nicholas Horton for £5. Hail Gary, woke Hollywood is now starting to affect the Japanese anime industry now too. God dang it. Well, any chance they can get. The thing is, they go in, they destroy, they leave. But, I mean, it's the tide is turning, and it's never going to completely change. And, I don't know what, people have their own expectations about things. I don't see Hollywood shutting up anytime soon about this, and I've never asked about it. It's showing both sides. That's it. Some neutrality, not demonizing one side over the other, which is what Doctor Who is doing right now. And boy, is it falling off a cliff. Things are going to be changing, though, for the BBC. Let's see if I can pull that article up. I just had it. Sorry, my microphone is in the way. There we go. And we're going to go to history. Let's see if we can do this. Because it looks like that license fee might be going away. There we go. And yes. Yes. I don't know how that got so short. There we go. Boris Johnson tells BBC license fee will be axed. And Helen Mirren came out recently, yesterday on Deadline, and said the BBC license fee has had its time. And this is not a good sign. They're going to have to, let's read the article. Downing Street has turned on the BBC, vowing to scrap the television license fee and making viewers pay a subscription. The national broadcaster could also see compelled to downsize and sell off most of its radio stations. I'm not going to subscribe to this, so we're only going to read a little bit more. In a plan that would change the face of the British broadcasting, senior aides to Prime Minister Boris Johnson insisted on Sunday that AEDT that they were not bluffing about changing the BBC funding model and pruning its reach into the people's homes. So we'll have to see how that works. Now, I love the BBC. I thought the BBC was the gold standard of television. It's brought me a lot of joy. I'm not happy about this happening, but maybe if the BBC represented the entire British public instead of London, this wouldn't have happened. And that's too bad. But when you have two of your biggest shows kind of fall apart over the last few years with Top Gear and Doctor Who, that can't help either. Now, HBO Max gave, I don't know exactly like if it's funding for the rights to stream it or they're actually investing in the show. If somebody in the chat could let me know, because I don't know. But it seems like HBO Max did give a lifeline to Doctor Who. I don't know what they're going to be doing for a season 13. Nobody's going to watch it. We might see a curiosity bump for the last two episodes to see if they bring back the first female of color doctor played by Joe Martin. And we'll find out what the Timeless Child is. My guess, and this is just, I'm playing, it's Guess the Woke Plot, that the Timeless Child was, maybe they had something to do with time, with the ability to travel time, and somehow Omega and Rassilon appropriated it in some way. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a forgotten cycle of all female doctors, and the first female of color doctor played by Joe Martin was one of them, and that rumor is true. I don't know. Remember, the way the rumor was presented to me was months and months and months ago. This is somebody I met 10 years ago. And I got an email just out of the blue, and it said, "You were right about Doctor Who." That was the title of it. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, what was I right about?" And I had made a prediction in jest that they would make the Doctor originally a girl. Now, I wasn't serious at all. It was just a joke to show how extreme and woke the show had gotten. And they said, no, they're playing around with that idea. So that was how it was presented, that the Doctor might originally have been a woman. There might be a forgotten a forgotten cycle or an unknown cycle of regenerations, but it's a rumor. And I couldn't verify it with anybody else. And I actually sat on it for months before I did a video on it. And the video wasn't even all about that rumor. So it's one of the few times I talked about a rumor. I've talked about Kurtzman rumors about a year and a couple months ago about him being removed from Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery. And lo and behold, whatever reasons, I don't know if you could use the word fired. That wasn't right, but he wasn't on Picard anymore. They announced Michael Chabon. That was 3 months into the production. And then Chabon is gone, of course. And now Michelle Paradise is in charge of Star Trek Discovery. So I don't know. It's all a matter of interpretation, I guess. The worse Trek gets, the more we're being blamed. Jet Screamer, $2. Yeah, that's the thing. Don't blame me if your show sucks. And do I need more evidence that your show sucks as you're constantly defending it by attacking other fans instead of going, no, I just like this part, or I like this show, or I like it. If you like it, great. What do you care what other people say about it? Honestly. So the fact is, I know why you care, and it's good that you care, that you like it. All right. It's called nuance. The reason you care is it's like sports ball. We're just two fans of something on opposite ends going at it. But the people who like it like to talk about, I am above all of that. I will not judge a show until it comes out because I am the most objective human being on the planet. I am the only human being you should be listening to because my objective opinion is the official one. I am the arbiter of all fandom. I can read the minds of other YouTubers and tell you what their motivations are behind their videos and their motivations for reviewing. It's obvious that these YouTubers want to hate Star Trek before it comes out. No, we don't want to hate it, or I don't want to hate it. I want to like it. And there have been many cases where I was like, this is going to suck. And it wasn't, and it didn't. Happens all the time. Go back and watch my reviews of The Punisher. I thought The Punisher season 1 was going to suck, and I ended up loving it. So I thought Witcher was going to suck. I ended up loving it. So yeah, I don't pretend to read other people's minds, guess their motivations. I can certainly guess. Syndek for $2. I watch Sonic. They listen to the fans. We win. Yes. And that is a great example of the one time you should listen. Now, you shouldn't listen to the fans all the time. Okay. But when they form hashtags and get into, when the numbers get ridiculously big, as far as the outcry, you should at least consider the possibility. I'm not saying change your mind. I'm not saying, but listen. And that's the key to good customer service. Now, the repurposers and creatives out there love to tell us that they're not in the service industry. We heard that a lot from comic book writers and artists. But you are. But you actually are now, because the fan and the creative and the repurposer are now more connected than ever. And because the creative and the repurposer and the actors don't get enough attention by acting in a film or having their name, they love having producer of Star Trek or writer of Star Trek in their Twitter bio. They want all the attention for that, except when they screw up or piss off the fans. Then it's their private account. Okay, no, it doesn't really work like that. We're more connected now than ever. Good customer service is entertaining the customer, listening to the customer. I had customers come at me at the comic shop with some, like one lady bought a toy. She clearly went out, gave it to her kid. Her kid freaking broke it, right? And she brings it back and goes, "You sold me a broken toy." It's like, am I going to sit there and fight with her? I could. I like to choose my battles. But you know what? I just gave her money back. I'm like, you know what? It's no skin off my back. That's fine. I've also had assholes come up to me and freaking, I had a place 2 doors down from my shop that used to test drugs. So they would give people $60 to give them a shot of whatever. And, you know, it always brought the best of San Francisco around my shop every Friday. So they would love to hang out in my shop. You know, and sometimes they did buy stuff. So you have to at least, I mean, like, I know these guys are like drugged out and they're high, but you know, you treat them with a little bit of respect. Now there's a point, if they start messing shit up, I'll get them the hell out of there. But I treated everybody with respect because they were a potential customer and they're a human being. And I like to talk to people. That was one of the best parts about the job. Yeah, I can't imagine going to my shop and saying, well, you know, I'm only going to sell comics to people who completely agree with me. And I'm sorry, you're an ist or a phobe, so get the hell out of here. I don't need your money. But that's what Hollywood's doing every day. That's what the BBC is doing every day. Now, the BBC isn't a business. They're a company, they're a corporation, but they're fleecing the British citizen for money. Not for very much longer, though. And that does change your motivation because they had that guaranteed cash flow. So they could do whatever the hell they wanted. You know, the customer dictates that. The people who subscribe to this channel dictate what I make. I like to, you know, when I think of a video, I don't like pull something out of my ass. When I make a video, it's something I feel strongly about, or I won't make a video. That's why I went a week without making a video, because there was nothing I felt that strongly about. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a live stream, but I'm not going to like dedicate a video to it because, you know, it's just like, you know, the Batman costume, a Batman costume reaction. You know, I know people do them and that's awesome. And that's a good way to like get growth for your channel. But honestly, it's like me going, wow. The only thing I would say is where I need to see his ears. I can't make a judgment on a Batman costume if I'm not seeing any ears. As far as the gun in his chest, I've gone back and forth on it. I now firmly believe it's a stupid idea. It's a dumb idea. Makes no sense. Sounds like a JJ idea to me. And Matt Reeves is connected to Bad Robot, so I don't know. But Robert Pattinson, the masked part, looked fine. It did. Frankly, it looks pretty good. The Planet of the Apes movies that Reeves did were good. This will probably be good. It's going to be a smaller film. So maybe that's what we need right now. Personally, I am sick to death of seeing year one Batman, Batman Begins, Batman's origins. Tired of seeing the Waynes die. I want Batman completely established and not retired Batman either. I want peak Batman. I want Batman in his prime with his full rogues gallery of villains, an operational Batcave, an operational third, fourth model Batmobile. I want frickin' Robin, Dick Grayson Robin. I want that just once. Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, you know, the Penguin and the frickin' Riddler teaming up. Yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. Because we haven't seen that. We've seen everything else. We've seen the beginning. We've seen the end. You know, and Tim Burton, arguably, but, you know, that was early on in comic book films when they always killed the villain. It's like, enough. But I guess the best we're going to get is, you know, of course, the animated series and then, you know, the games. And the movies will just never figure it out. And I mean, Spider-Man, you could honestly say the same thing. At least we got into some, a little bit of that with the MCU Spider-Man, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. So I know I'm in the minority on that one, though. I understand. Stupid Monkey Zero for $5. Gary, my religion prohibits me from believing anything that happened in media after 2012. If you disagree, you're a bigot. Then I must be a bigot. No, it's all right. Stupid monkey. I respect your really restrictive religion, but that's okay. Because the Mayan calendar, it ended. Yeah. Cracklin, $4.99. I hear in the next episode, JL has a prostate examination at the VA. Oh, well, maybe, what the hell is her name? I forgot her name. Laris has a Romulan device that can, it's like a nano, it can like recreate Picard's prostate, enlarged in a living room, and they can just, take a look at it right there. JL lifts a finger and says, engage. Oh, Red Panda for elderly humor. Red Panda for 10 pounds. Greetings, Gary. Been loving your vids. Those Christian Bale sound bites made my day. Thank you. You're welcome. I've been sitting on those for a while. It's like, I need to use those. No, I actually want to try. I was trying to make a video where Tom Baker is arguing with William Shatner. I might do that someday. But no, I've got, that's what I would, oh my God, that's what took forever is building a library of sound clips. I love sound clips. Of course, I'm inspired by the great, Fred from the Howard Stern show, Nicholas Horton for £5. Leak image from the set of The Witcher Season 2 got my ticket for new My Hero Academia movie released next week. Whoa. What leaked image? Nicholas, can you send it over to me on Twitter or can I just Google it? Let's take a look. Oh, here we go. Is that it? No, that's not it. That's not it. I don't see it. Is that it? Hey, if you could DM it to me on Twitter. I can't search forever, but thank you, Nicholas Horton, and have fun at My Hero Academia movie. If it's out next week, I got to take my kid. Nerdrotic Jr. loves it. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $4.99. Have you watched Lost in Space on Netflix? I have. I recommend it for you if you have not seen it. It's pretty good. I did not like it. I felt like, I'll tell you exactly why I didn't like it. It was just too much. It was freaking Karen Strong woman, freaking nihilist. I'm sick of that shit. I'm just freaking sick of it. People can enjoy it, but honestly, how many times do I need to see in sci-fi and absolutely everything, a divorced mom, dad's a dick. He's, he did something wrong and he's like groveling to her the whole time. I know it's really basic and old fashioned to show a family unit. At least that's the one thing Lock and Key did well. There's a twist with the dad, but the dad's painted in a pretty good light. And it's a pretty solid family unit. Normally, it's not like complete nihilism. I'm just sick to death of Hollywood's nihilism. It was interesting for a while. It was. As I'm sick of it in comics. The Watchmen was 30 freaking years ago. It's now time to reconstruct. Bring back heroism and inspiration. The problem is there's a political sect out there that believe that heroism is a tool of the patriarchy, although it can be women or men. I don't care. I don't care what what the person looks like. I honestly am not interested where somebody puts their Johnson or isn't. I don't care. Just tell me a good story. And we get that once in a while, but we're not getting it with the major franchises. And maybe it's just time for them to go away. Maybe they've aged out. Star Trek, I had a debate with somebody yesterday, a positive one. It's a really nice guy. We were going a little back and forth on what the problem is with Star Trek. And the problems with Star Trek precede Jar Jar Abrams, okay? Jar Jar Abrams, I honestly don't see Jar Jar as the true destroyer of Star Trek. I see Alex Kurtzman as the destroyer of Star Trek. I think JJ wasn't around long enough. I think Bad Robot has responsibility in it, absolutely. But I don't see them as the destroyer. I see Alex Kurtzman, Les Moonves, and CBS as the destroyers of Star Trek. But the seeds of that destruction were planted prior to them showing up. Because, we're going to talk about Rick Berman's tweet here in a little bit. I have a lot of appreciation for Rick Berman, more than I used to criticize that guy. I actually, there was a time I believe Star Trek had a giant stick up its ass, and it did, and it needed to remove it. But you got to respect what Rick Berman did. What he did will never be done again. He produced 4 Star Trek shows that were successes that'll never be done again, that people liked. I liked Voyager. I did. But at the time, I thought Star Trek had a bit of a stick up its ass, and that's why I wasn't. And I don't like prequels. So while I appreciate Enterprise more now, I still don't love it. I don't want prequels. I want stuff moving forward. That aside, there were problems. Paramount didn't know what to fucking do with it. And they just relied on that constant revenue flow of the toys and stuff forever. And they didn't really innovate it. And that's why they had to do something radical. And that brought us to this. Star Trek does need to change. It does need to move forward. But I think it could still move forward by keeping the spirit. Iron Man and Marvel, they did evolve the MCU as it moved forward. I think it's hit its wall, but it did evolve, but it still remained itself. Doctor Who, that revival came back. That is a great example of a great revival, moving a show forward, giving it a little better budget, but still had the spirit of Doctor Who, and the love of Doctor Who. See, what people sense who don't like Star Trek Picard is the disdain for what came before. There's not a reverence. There's a lot of lip service for reverence, but judge by actions, not words. Words are wind. Kurtzman, words are wind. I think it's debatable who is the destroyer of Star Trek. Ultimately, it's Kurtzman, CBS, Les Moonves, who's not around anymore. We'll see if Sherry Redstone can fix it. And I think the only way you can fix it, you can't turn on a dime. I don't know what to do. You would have to stick with this aesthetic. I think if you wanted to fix it immediately, you're just bringing new writers, but you'd have to stick with this aesthetic. I'd be okay with that if we just had new writers, to be honest with you. But Lost in Space, didn't like it. It had moments, but I didn't like it. Grant Kelbrick for 70s Zardozes, and that's from South Africa. Star Trek is meant to be about smart people doing really smart things out there in space. What we got now is numbed down, dense soap opera. Lord help us. Yes. And it's dumbed down. That's what it is. You can argue that it's Star Trek and it's a Star Trek-y plot. Sure. I have no problems with the concept. I have problems with the execution. You want to bring back the Borg and do something epic? Cool. Do something epic. But I've got a secret. I think I'm falling in love with you. Oh my God. Best Star Trek moment ever. Oh my God. Please make a Tumblr GIF for that. Please. A GIF. Sorry. Yeah. Eddie Sands for $1.99 speaks the truth. Castlevania Season 3 is looking awesome. Yes. When does that release again? Because I'll cover that too. I loved Seasons 1 and 2. Warren Ellis is the shit. Season 3. Oh, shit. All right. couple weeks. Yes. So what I'll do is I'll review the entire series. With Alter Carbon, I'll review the first episode, and then I'll do a series review. Probably like 5 days later. I'll probably end up watching it in like a day. Yeah. Castlevania. Eddie, yeah, I can't wait for Castlevania. Warren Ellis is the shit. He's a great writer. Mary Ashmead gives me a farting cat. He's farting hearts. I love that. Thank you, Mary. It's good to see you. Thank you for the $2. Felipe Abrigo for 2,500 Chilean pesos. Hail Grand Destroyer and arch villain Beekler. In The Who, it was Pete Townsend who wrote all the songs. Could we say he is Doctor Who? Yes, we could. We could. Pete Townsend was a genius. Sorry, I'm currently fixing my desk. So right now it's halfway between being a standing desk and not. It will be fixed tomorrow, but right now I'm keep bumping it. Sorry, my apologies. All right. I did want to get to, if I can find that article again. This is funny. Big surprise here. Hang on. That's not what we want to see. We want to see that. So it turns out that the Fall of Skywalker is missing deleted scenes and commentary. There will be no Star Wars The Fall of Skywalker deleted scenes or commentary in the home release of the final Skywalker Saga installment. Disney and Lucasfilm Star Wars The Fall of Skywalker home video list of special features is missing deleted scenes and director commentary. The latest and final entry in the beloved Star Wars saga has been both spectacular and divisive, and its upcoming home video release seems to echo that. Though it arrived to a very mixed reviews and a wide array of diverse opinion from fans, Rise of Fall of Skywalker was still a box office smash hit with its over $1 billion worldwide. The final film in the latest Star Wars trilogy, The Fall of Skywalker, marked Jar Jar Abrams' return to the series that he kicked off back in 2015 with The Force Awakens. And while Abrams was responsible for 2/3 of the trilogy, many felt it was The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson who gave fans the closest thing to what they wanted out of the new Star Wars film. What? You fucking shill. Oh my God. That is the funniest thing I've ever read. I've got to say, there's an opioid epidemic, and I'm not saying this guy's on opioids, but there's an opioid epidemic here in the United States. And anybody who's familiar with opioids, right on the side of the bottle, it says this product will affect your judgment. I think there's a lot of freaking opioids going on out there. I'm going to read that again. Many fans felt that it was The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson who gave fans the closest thing to what they wanted out of a new Star Wars film. That might be the dumbest thing I've ever read from the Access Media. Wow. Really? Okay, so are many fans like 5? I guess that would be many. Are they fans or are they partisan hacks who work in the Access Media? That might be many. Yeah. Wow. This particular issue is certainly a matter of personal preference, but it does illustrate how important the right director is to any Star Wars film. Fans are always eager to know what decisions were made and why. I don't know. Richard Marquand wasn't the greatest director in the world. I think he did Eye of the Needle before Return of the Jedi and didn't do much else afterwards. And Irving Kershner did RoboCop, too. Yeah, I don't know. What footage was left on the cutting room floor? And any further insight that went into getting each notoriously difficult Star Wars production off the ground? It's for precisely this reason that the long after the box office battle was been waged, the next major proving ground for the Star Wars film will be the home video release. And remember, folks, if you go back in time to when The Last Jedi came out, the Fandom Menace's origins weren't when the film was released. It was when the video was released. That's when things, because remember, people were pissed. It was divided. It had calmed down a little bit. Then the video came out and it kicked up and it didn't stop. And that had to do with some YouTubers. And as things currently stand, The Fall of Skywalker is set for digital release on March 17th and 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and DVD release on March 31st. This is great news for those who want to add the final installment of the Skywalker saga to their collections. But unfortunately, it won't include what many Star Wars fans consider to be some of the single most important extra features. According to Star Wars, the upcoming home video release will not include either commentary, director, or otherwise, nor will it provide any deleted scenes. Wow, I think that's a mic drop right there. I think that's, the Fandom Menace was right. The Fandom Menace was right. So, why aren't they including deleted scenes? Why aren't they including commentary? I'll tell you why. JJ's pissed. JJ's fucking pissed. I know there's there's all the leaks and all the blah, blah, blah out there. I'll just tell you, I don't give a shit about Reddit, fucking 4chan. I was down in LA and I talked to some people working on stuff who told me that JJ's pissed. That he felt fucked over. So why would he go back and do a commentary for these people? Plus he's moving off to Warner Brothers. Now, as far as deleted scenes, there's deleted scenes. They exist. Maybe they would be better. There's a lot of reasons why they wouldn't show them. So, well, this is just going to add to the speculation. This isn't going to quiet it down. Well, that'll be added to my video coming out later. Let's get back to you guys now. Wow, I accidentally came across that article too. Hi, you got to see my innards. My channel's innards. Where was I? Sharon Osborne. Please share it. What am I supposed to share? If somebody can give me the leaked Witcher image, I would be happy to share it. Let's see if I'm looking for my... where can I buy a green Nerdrotic t-shirt? I will, that's from Quarter Black Garrett. Garrett, I will get you one, buddy. You don't need to buy one. Nicholas Horton, what's your handle on Twitter? Did you send me a message? God, I've got so many. I have not got a message on Twitter yet. So I will, as soon as I get it, I will share it. I promise. I love The Witcher. I think it's fucking great. We enter the Vineyard's house, climb the stairs slowly, as we hear a bell ringing again and again. We go to the room, and there is an old bald man sitting in a wheelchair. Oh my God, it's J.L. Salamanca. Salamanca! Oh, yes. Thank you, Felipe Abrigo, for 5,000 Chilean pesos. Hey, Better Call Saul premieres this Sunday. We have the same issue here in South Africa. We are forced to pay a TV license so the government can broadcast its crappy propaganda. God's truth, says Grant. Thank you, Grant, again, for the 35 Zardazes from South Africa. It's ZA. I don't know. What is that? Is it $1? I'll just say $1. But yeah, that's downright un-American. That's the way I see that. 200 Watt Studio for $2. Owen Wilson as Kang? What? Crash and Reed and Sue's wedding? Owen Wilson as Kang? Huh? 200 Watt Studio? What are you smoking, buddy? You know, I'm going to confess. You come to Nerdrotic Nooner for the hot confessions. I know. So I'm an ex-smoker. All right. I'm an ex-smoker. I used to smoke a pack a day. Even when I was working out, I used to smoke. I loved to smoke. I was like Dennis Leary. I loved to fucking smoke. Love cigarettes. But I stopped. So occasionally I like once in a great while, I haven't had one in a while, I like a tobacco pipe, kick back like Tolkien, sit on my porch or my steps and smoke a pipe. Or occasionally I will partake in the injection of nicotine through vaping. So this little thing right here in San Francisco is contraband. Like, I have contraband right now. So you can walk around San Francisco, step in all the poop you want, smoke a bunch of goddamn pot. Somebody's at my door now. And smoke cigarettes, but you can't have these. These are illegal. It's a fucking stupid city. I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. I might have to get up for a second. Somebody's at my door. Sounds like it's handled. They'll knock on my door if they need me. Back to you guys. What's up? They have a question. Okay, hang on, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm going to give you some music. What's the question? All right, I'm back. They didn't need to ask me a question, but they asked me a question anyway. It's like trim a tree, dude. It's like trim it. Okay. Where was I? Felipe Abrigo, thank you very much for the super chat. Omega Supreme with cheese for $5. I bet Picard was originally sold with the black female commander, that Latin captain, and a robot chick, but it was rejected and they had to add Picard. It probably was. It feels like another show that was, I don't know. It might have been. It feels like it wants to be 5 other things, but it's a clear ripoff of The Expanse and Firefly. And with Star Trek, you have your own aesthetic. You have your own thing. Trying to be other things is pathetic. It's pathetic. But it's because you don't have the creative talent behind it. But this show has its staunch defenders because of hypnosis. Hypnosis is a real thing, folks. I suffer from it too. I am not immune to it. Okay, I'm not. I am a fallible human being. So, in a best case scenario, someone competent takes over the Trek franchise and Q comes in to erase the new timeline. Is there hope? Or is this just a dream? It's the Vulture for $4.99. It's a dream. I'm sorry. This Q might come in at the end. I don't know. He might come in at the end. I could absolutely see them bringing in Q. Q has the power to do that. They will not do that. They're not going to change any of this stuff, folks. It's not going to get canceled. It's not going away. I don't believe it. Until I see it, until I absolutely see this happen. I think we're going to get a Picard season 2. I have heard we might even get a season 3. It's up to Sir Patrick Stewart himself, who's funding it. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, I just think But if it keeps going in this direction, you might see changes because it seems like it's really crapping out. And it's the way they wrote it. So they are filling it full of Trek member berries that normies are just not going to know at all. Like they're, what? I mean, you know, it's one thing after, especially with the Vashta, what the hell, I forgot they're called there. There's Tal Shiar, and then there's the Vashta Narada. I'm going to just say the Vashta Narada from Doctor Who. And so it's the super secret organization and not the super secret organization. That secret, the secret is so crazy it's going to break your mind, and they have an irrational hatred for robots, yet they're thousands of years old. So that means the robots are thousands of years old. I'm confused by so many things. Why do you just hate anthropomorphic robots? Why don't you hate drones or EMHs or anything else? Maybe that gets explained, but I doubt it. Captain Spire, thank you, Gary, for your time. How's the family? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys for joining me for $2. The family is doing okay. Mom's going to be doing better very soon. Very, very soon. We're getting that situation turned around. But I might have to leave at the drop of a hat. I actually have to go to San Diego within 14 days. But yeah, everything's fine. We're just busy. Went on date night last night with Miss Nerdrotic to Foreign Cinema, and we saw Austin Powers and had some very expensive food. And it was good. Destiny Captain for $1.99. Gary, have you caught my emails by any chance? I've seen that they're in there, Destiny Captain, but I haven't read them yet. I'm getting through emails from a month ago. There are so many, but I like to get through them. I'm plowing through them. I will respond to you when I get them. Okay, Destiny? Thank you. The Brown Guy for Canadian $2.79. Hail, Gary, like the Union toque. I need one. Toque. I got this from the set. It's got a season 3 right here. Yeah. Tom Constantino, the producer of the Orville, gave this to me. Thank you very much. He also gave me this little button. And there's more merch to come. Hang on, my magnets are toque. But yeah, I think they might be, maybe they'll sell them at some point. That'd be pretty cool. That would be very, very cool. More importantly, Doomcock was right. Also, Solo lost money, Rise of Palpatine lost money, and Sonic won. Yeah, I mean, Doomcock was right about some stuff. Certainly. And more importantly, Solo lost money. Solo did lose money. And that was a direct result of the Fandom Menace. The Fandom Menace got the attention of $1 billion corporation. Did they get them to completely change their ways? No, but we got their attention. So in a sense, people should be thanking us because Star Wars, essentially, as Benny June said, was saved from itself. And then they decided to not dick around with the identity politics anymore and just give us a show, which was The Mandalorian. Now, there's debate amongst many fans on how good or bad The Mandalorian is. Like I said, I thought it was a well-executed show in a world I could care less about. Baby Yoda's adorably cute, and I'm not going to deny that. And I thought some of the stuff was downright cool. It was. I thought some of the episodes were really good. The Deborah Chow episodes are really, really good. I would watch those again. There are some episodes that felt like filler. I felt like it was too short, and I hated the music. People disagree with me on that, and that's fine. But I think there will be Star Wars that future Star Wars fans will be able to enjoy, and that's great. I think that's a win, and I think if they get rid of the identity politics, and again, not make a right-wing Star Wars show, nobody fucking wants that, just make a Star Wars show that everybody can enjoy, and then you guys can debate on quality. Like, it's boring. It's not. I don't like this plot choice. It's not. Back to normal shit. That's great. Then the fans win. Then the fandom has won. And if the Fandom Menace did not exist, that shit would not have happened. Listen, the fall of Skywalker was a course correction. They tried. They failed miserably because they hurried it out. Just think, especially when you look at this year. This year is kind of bleak when it comes to entertainment. We just got off a year that had the end of Game of Thrones, the end of the MCU, and the end of the Skywalker saga. And it's followed up with the Eternals and two boys making out in a movie. Black Widow, a movie that should have happened 10 years ago. That's going to be, at best, pretty good. I don't think it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be great. But it's not going to move anything forward. It's just going to exist to be a placeholder. It feels like a placeholder film. And Wonder Woman 84. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope it's good. I want everything to be good. Tenet looks fucking great. Can't wait for that movie. I'm looking forward to more stuff in television, I guess. Like Altered Carbon looks pretty cool. Westworld Season 3. God, I wish that was going to be good, but it's not. But we are going to get Star Trek Discovery later in the year. That'll be great. But no, it's just bleak. It's bleak. And if they would have just, you know what? Why don't you have Endgame in 1 year and then push Star Wars? If they would have pushed Star Wars out a year, we might have gotten like a digestible film. But that might have been JJ's fault. He cut his deal with Warner Brothers. Everybody's cutting deals. And there's the writer's strike that might be coming down. That's maybe why things were rushed. Things are looking light. I'm not saying that's a fact, but it might be playing into it. And the writer's strike could kill Star Trek. It could, if it happens. But the Fandom Menace was right about the big picture. We said Star Wars fans would start walking away. And we would start walking away. If you don't change your ways, you're not going to have a brand or a franchise for life. Because Disney didn't pay $4 billion to have 10 years of Star Wars. They didn't pay $4 billion to have a ride. But that's what it's going to be. It'll always be at Disneyland as a semi-successful ride. That'll always be okay. That's not going anywhere. But as far as cranking out TV shows and movies and making toys, you just put an expiration date on that. And that's what we were trying to... We wanted to keep giving you money. And you didn't want to listen. And more importantly, you started attacking fans. If Rian Johnson would have shut up, I don't think the Fandom Menace would be here right now. And the fact that Kathleen Kennedy doesn't say anything, the fact that she's a coward and lets other people apologize for her. You know, if Kathleen Kennedy came out with some humility and said, hey, she could have squashed this in one press conference with one interview. It wouldn't even have to be a press conference. She could just sit down and go, listen, we've made some mistakes. We hear you. What Jeff Fowler said. Just say exactly what Jeff Fowler just said. Beyond that, what did you hear when Jeff Fowler said what he said about Sonic? What did you hear from everybody? I don't care if the movie's good or not. I just thank you for acknowledging us. The movie might suck, but at least he acknowledged us. And we're going to give it a chance now. Instead of this antagonizing, that's what my whole video, my last video is thesis in antagonizing fucking fans. Stop doing it. But see, actors and creatives and repurposers get in their little fucking bubbles of yes and smell their own farts all the time. And they just think they're right all the time. And nobody is right all the time. And maybe I'm not saying don't have your beliefs. I'm saying you might piss somebody off. And if you're okay with that, then don't fucking bitch when your movie flops because you popped off. Because Birds of Prey would have done better if Ewan McGregor shut up. It would have. And Margot Robbie and their whole marketing thing. It would have done better. It still probably would have pissed some people off, but the film would have done better. And Dark Phoenix would have still sucked, but it would have had a better opening weekend if they didn't release that one fucking clip. But they thought, wow, Captain Marvel, was a success based on this shit. Let's do it. Let's try, because they knew they had trash, so they wanted to play to their base. And it didn't work. Dark Phoenix, Dark Fate, same fucking thing. Was the movie as bad as the marketing or Tim Miller popping off? No. But Tim Miller learned. Tim Miller learned from his mistakes. So at least he's got that. And I was a fucking huge fan of his. I was a huge backer. As a matter of fact, I was pissed when he got fired from Deadpool. I'm like, it's not going to be the same without him. And it wasn't. I think Tim Miller went out at Comic-Con and said things that he thought people wanted to hear. And he was wrong. Hail, Gary. Just got here. What's new? Darkstar 76. Well, apparently, the Fall of Skywalker video and DVD release will not have deleted scenes or director commentary. This is my surprise face. Destiny Captain, I will get back to your emails in, we'll say before 5 p.m. Pacific time. How's that sound? I got them pulled up here. As a vet, I hated 2009 Star Trek because Cadet Kirk became captain in an hour. Mr. CCDV for $5. It didn't bother me. I'll tell you why it didn't bother me. Because it was an alternate reality. That was it. It was an alternate reality. So they can do... I looked at it as ultimate Star Trek. Just like the Ultimate Universe in Marvel. You can... You know, if you make another reality, do what you want. And I don't know why they didn't... Star Trek Discovery, I would look at it completely differently. I would still think it sucks. But if it was in its own reality, if it was a reboot of Star Trek, great. That explains the Klingons. That explains everything. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do that? Well, you know why. Because it wasn't just about entertaining. It's about shaping minds. It's about influencing. Because believe me, they've come... Time's up. All of these movements, the actors, the repurposers have come out and said, we're going to use all of our power, everything at our disposal to change results of an election, to change people's minds. They have come out and said it multiple times. And it's infected our entertainment. And that's what it is. It's infected it. Again, you could have your beliefs, but they've come out and said it. There's a concerted effort. Is it a conspiracy? No, I think it's just like-mindedness. Thassio for $4.99. If taken into account opportunity cost, all of the latest Star Wars movies have lost a lot of money. How much it could have made is way above what they made. Thassio, you're absolutely right. It's called lost sales. They left a lot of money behind with their attitude, with their choices and plot. And believe me, what they did to Luke Skywalker was a political decision. It was politically based. That wasn't subverting expectations. It was in line with what we have seen with so many other things. And I've done a gazillion videos on this. So, no. They didn't treat Luke Skywalker with respect. So much so the actor playing the part spoke up about it. Okay. Cardinal Sin for $1.99 says, Gary, no guest tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Aditya Singh for £2. Hey, Gary, have you started The Witcher 3 yet? I have not. Every time I plan to do it, I have another video to make. But I will eventually get to it. I need to somehow get caught up. I'm a little behind. Rob W. for $2. Thank you for the donation, Rob. I appreciate it. Troy Tempest. What's your avatar, Rob? I'm trying to figure that out. It's kind of cool. Troy Tempest for Australian $5. If you watch The Expanse and For All Mankind, then watch Disgracery and Discard. Oh, Discard. Troy, I like that. You will be amazed at the difference in writing quality. Hail, Gary. Yes. It is night and day. So The Expanse, Picard compared to The Expanse is like freaking Vampire Diaries compared to The Expanse. Honestly, Vampire Diaries is better written show than Star Trek Picard. Yeah, I fucking said it. I said it. Vampire Diaries was written better than Picard. Forced to choose to direct next film, JJ or Rianne? If I had a gun to my head, JJ. Rian, I don't know how he is as a director. I don't see his. I would make my choice and then never watch the film. But I think Rian is good at doing his own little wannabe edgelord shit. I think his Breaking Bad episodes were good. Good JJ was 2009 Star Trek, Mission Impossible, which was just average, and Fringe. Edgy number 1 for £5. I hate the phrase respect the fans. Creators should respect the source material. Get that right and fans will follow. Get it wrong and they'll bite you. I don't hate the phrase respect the fans. I think you should respect your customer. But they don't. And I'm talking about like really basic stuff, Edgy. Like when you're interacting with them. What the access media and the repurposers and the creatives love to use is anonymous dickheads on Twitter. All right. That's always what they go to. They're like, somebody was racist and sexist to me. And it was like some fart in the wind with 9 followers who's got an animated character as an avatar. I don't even count that shit. I mean, it's meaningless. It's like I said, it's a fart in the wind. It's not, but they can never bring up an actual YouTuber or video or a clip of it. I mean, there is thousands of hours of clips. I never see it. I never fucking see it. I never see one single example. It's got to exist. But they always conflate that stuff. So we're talking on the most basic level. So what Rian Johnson is using those animated twerps, animated avatar twerps with 9 followers to attack other people who didn't say that shit, who just simply criticized his movie. So that's the bullshit about that. And that's my next video will talk about that. They love to use that. I could use that shit all day long to broadly generalize the other side. I don't do that here. I generally don't do that here. Occasionally I'll drop SJW MPC when it's applicable, but it's not terms I'm in love with, to be honest with you. Stupid Monkey, 0 for $5. At Jedi Chemo has committed the ultimate sin. I'm pulling rank as the Garrett. Chat, do not respond to this satire any longer. Fun has been had. Jedi Chemo. Is that the guy who's in the chat? Is he anti? Is he edgy? Is he cool? We want to be as cool as you, Jedi Chemo. Like I said before, animated avatar, anonymous. I understand anonymity, and I can't even say I understand it. I just can't say it. I understand anonymity on the internet, and I respect it, and it's fine. I don't judge it. Here I am. You know my full name. Michael Henley for $50. Wow. But Stupid Monkey, thank you, man. Thank you. Or I'm sorry. I said man. My bad. Thank you. Just thank you. Michael Henley for $50. And he's got a hippo. He's got a hippo coming out of a chest of money. I like that. Toss a coin to your hippo. Awesome. Thank you, Michael Henley. Bad Nut for £10. Hey, nerd, first super. Much love, dude. Much love back to you. And I love the avatar. Freaking Watchmen. I'm looking for my pen right now. But it's on I actually have my Watchmen pen on my robe. I like to be comedian at night. I'm usually drinking coffee at night before I go to bed. Yes, I do. I had an espresso before I went to bed last night. Rube's Good Brain Coffee for $2. Perception filter equals all doctors were really women. Oh, no. Oh. No. Oh, my God. They would totally use that. The perception filter is the get out of jail free card for Doctor Who, amongst other things. I just thought of something, and they didn't bring this up in the episode. That's why. Never mind. Mr. Demento for $5. It would be better if Ruth was the doctor's granddaughter, Susan, back to help him remember who he really is. That would be better, Mr. Demento, to be honest with you. Yeah, if it was a regenerated Susan, hell yeah. That would be cool. I like that concept. Okay, where was I? I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, so the perception filter in the last episode is why the psychic paper didn't work, but they didn't bring that up. 200-watt studio for $2. Owen Wilson as Kang, Crash and Reed in Sue's wedding. Yeah, I still don't know what that means, 200-watt studio. Explain it in the chat. You don't have to give another super chat. Owen Wilson, so you would, Wedding Crashers with the Fantastic Four. Owen Wilson? I don't know. Grant Kelbrack, thank you again for the super chat. Sharon Osborne for $1.99 says, please share it. Once I get the image, I will. God dang it. Stop calling me. John, I can't talk right now. That's my father-in-law. I sent you 10,000 pizzas, all Hawaiian. You are pranked, says Mr. Roboto for $2. Oh, really? Well, I'll eat a couple of them. I like Hawaiian pizzas. I like pineapple on my pizza. So there. Romulans created the Borg from Red Letter Media, says Garrett Barley for $1.99. Yes, and he also thinks that Soji is a Q. That's interesting. Can I have some nerdrotic contraband? Of course, Mary. Thank you for the $2. Of course you can. Band Nut for £2 says, my balls hurt. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that. Can also shoot up heroin and get ignored by the police. I still have to do work in the TL on occasion. See the homeless there all the time. But vaping is bad, says Omega Supreme with cheese for $5. I know, right? Stupid city. Stupid city. Rank these from 1 to 4. 1 being the worst, 4 being the least worst. Star Trek Discovery, The Last Jedi, The Fall of Skywalker, and Netflix Lost in Space. So 4 being the least worst. So I would say... the worst is Star Trek Discovery, Last Jedi, Fall of Skywalker, Lost in Space. So Lost in Space is the least worst. Star Trek Discovery is the worst. So out of Star Trek Discovery, Last Jedi, Fall of Skywalker, Lost in Space, you have it in order. Star Trek Discovery is the worst. Last Jedi is the second worst. Fall of Skywalker is the third worst. And Lost in Space is the fourth worst. There you go. I would watch Lost in Space before I watched any of the previous 3, for sure. I'm curious, do you have Nerdrotic coffee mugs? Says Out of Step with Reality for $2. Not yet. I will, though. That'd probably be the easiest to make. I probably should. Keith M for $5. You trashed Disney Plus, but it gave me the chance to watch the animated Spidey and His Amazing Friends for the first time in decades. Stan Lee narrates. Were you not able to watch those before? I have them all. I've had them on, I recorded them. I had them on DVD. Now they were boots, but yeah. As far as Disney Plus is concerned, yeah, it gives you a chance to watch that. I would say that's a plus for Disney Plus. But, yeah, it's a cartoon. I'm 50. I'm not going to watch that anymore. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I love X-Men, the animated series. And believe me, I watched them all plenty of times. You get to a certain age, you're like, I've seen enough. I'm done. But I'm glad, yeah. What did I trash about Disney Plus? I hear I trashed Disney Plus, but I'm not hearing a quote here. I would say it's not worth my money. If you have kids, probably. But I would say Disney Plus has The Mandalorian and nothing else I would be interested in. But there's Disney fans, there's hardcore Disney fans who will just watch Disney stuff over and over, and that's fine. That's good for them. I'd rather watch HBO Max. I'd rather watch some rated R shit, want some adult stuff, Netflix. That's what I'd rather watch. 200-watt studio for $2. Release the deleted scenes cut. Yes, exactly. Derek Harmon for $2. At least we get a season 2 of The Boys this year. Yes, that's right, Derek. You are correct. That's later in the year too. I can't wait. Bioman for $5. A little cheddar simply for the hell of it. Took your advice and lost demonic Father C. Miller for Lost Demonic Father C. Miller would approve Nerdrotic Best Channel on YouTube. Wow, thank you, Bioman. Oh, you lost Demonic. Okay. There you go. Father Christopher Miller would approve, Bioman. That's good. We love Father Christopher Miller around these parts. We do. Antone McCard for £5. I'm almost glad Stargate is a full stop right now. I wouldn't want to see it get destroyed in this new awful sci-fi environment. I agree. Same with Babylon 5. It's in Right's hell and it won't get remade into this crap. What if they are Laura's kids? Asked Chris Myers for $2. That was brought up. Laura was brought up with Red Letter Media. I think Laura's absence is very suspicious. I will say that. Laura's absence is very suspicious. So there could be a big twist. But, I mean, as it stands right now, Soji and Daj are not Data's daughter. They're Data. It's Data. Remember that. It's not offspring. It's a copy of him. Chucky Wookie. It was all right there, BBC. It was all right there, BBC River Phoenix. Both genders, Dr. R could have played and switched the good bad narratives all you like. So Chucky Wookie for $4. I'm going to try to read that again. And I tried to read it exactly how it was written for $4.99. Thank you for the $4.99. It was all right there, BBC River Phoenix. Both genders, Dr. our could have played and switched the good bad narrative all you like. Chucky, copy that in the chat. Because I don't know what I just read. I'm sorry, but I have no idea what that was. Stupid Monkey, 0 for $2. On pizza, no, Gary. Board the train and go to camp. No pineapple. Oh, hell no. Oh, go to re-education camp? Oh, hell no. Pineapple on my pizza. I'm from SoCal, yo. I like guacamole. I like pineapple. I believe they have always hated sci-fi genre. It feels like it. And that's Darius Ewing. I'm going to go up here. Okay, we're going to have to wrap this one up early, folks, because I've got to finish my video. Oh, Bird of Prey. Oh, I missed some here. I gotta get caught up. Bird of Prey 5 for $2. Emergency Super Chat hologram activated. Thank you. Bird of Prey. Kapla. Lobocop 69. I got that one. Congrats on Nerdrotic. How did I miss yours, Bird of Prey 5? That was weird. It just didn't show up, but now it did. I'm going through. All right, we're good. And Horton, did you send me that on Twitter? I'm looking for a... What the... That is great. Yeah, I'm going to share this. Hang on. This is pretty funny. Somebody sent me this. This says it all, folks. There you go. That's it right there. All right. Next live stream will be Friday at 5 p.m. Friday Night Tights. Now, there might be one tomorrow. I'm doing an interview with Mark Zickery. Mark Zickery, Mr. Sci-Fi. He was working on a show called Space Command. He also wrote the book The Twilight Zone Companion. He's also written Star Trek episodes. He's a real writer. He's a real sci-fi writer. And he's been somewhat critical of Star Trek Picard. Not entirely. I think he does it with class. And I like that. I'm a big fan of this guy. Always liked his channel. So we're going to have him on. So I'm probably going to record the interview and then do a live stream around the recorded interview. And we will see when that turns out. In the meantime, everybody, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for liking and sharing, subscribing. We just passed 221,000 subscribers, 18,000 on Nerdrotic Live. Things are moving up. Final word on the Fandom Menace. No, they're not right about everything. Don't let people conflate stuff on you. Individual YouTubers do individual things with their channel, and they have every right to do that, and I'm not going to judge that. The Fandom Menace was, is, and always will be a hashtag, and that's it. And it was a very effective one. Unlike some of the other ones, it was effective. Did it achieve total victory? Time will tell. I don't think that's what we were out to do, honestly. I think we just wanted to have our voices heard, and they were heard. They eventually were heard. And we got mentioned, JJ dropped our name. We got mentioned on the BBC. And Christ, this last article that came out from the BBC, it's about the Fandom Menace. Let's be real. It even brings up Game of Thrones. So yeah, we had an effect. We had such an effect that we have, people have been trying to make copies of it. And, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. They don't really need to do that. They can just be fans. So, real quick, Star Wars Celebration is going to be huge. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of YouTubers, a lot of Fandom Menace members descending. I'm not even going into the show, but the plan is tentatively to rent a place out at no charge to you, get a taco truck, and maybe like a bar with a stage where we can do live shows. We could do a live show where you can participate. Anybody's welcome. We're calling it a Fandom Menace thing, but anybody can come, man. Whether you're in the Fandom Menace or not, come on down, get some vittles, some food, some drink. We'll hang out and we'll have a good time. The last couple of meetups Jeremy and I have done in New York and San Diego have been great. And we just hung out in bars and talked. And it was just nerds being nerds. And that was the best part about New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con. So we're going to do it again. I will let you guys know place, time, all that. That'll, come within the next couple of months. I know not everybody's in Southern. It's in Anaheim this year. If you can make it, that'd be great. If you can, I understand. But just know when you get there, it'll be free. So everything will be paid for by us or by me. I'm not going to volunteer anybody else. No GoFundMe's, nothing. This is a thank you to you guys. So, and it'd probably just like a very, it'd probably be like the meetup at Star Trek Las Vegas. It was very intimate. We had like 30, 40 people there. It was fun as hell. So more than welcome. Keep an eye on my Twitter and my website for that. Again, anybody is welcome. You don't have to identify as Fandom Menace or any of that shit. You just gotta be a fan or not. I don't care. We got a couple more super chats before I go. Trevor RN, Canadian $2. But Gary, Jeremy abdicated you. Fandom Menace. Yes. But actually, Cecil won the popular vote. I stole it in the electoral vote, Trevor RN. Apparently. That's the narrative out there. Cecil is love, by the way. Cecil is love. And do check out, the last Friday Night Tights was really good. So it's over on Nerdrotic Live. Robert Meyer Burnett joined us, and it was a good time. I think I saw one that I missed. Nope. Making sure. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to the Sporking News podcast. That's a friend of mine. He just hit 500 subs. We want to get him up to 1,000. Again, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the super chats. We're almost at 1,000 likes. We're at 950. So don't forget to hit that like, and I'll take you out with some music. Look for my video either later today in the morning, and I'll see you tonight for Picard. For Picard. Everybody, have a great day, and remember, not all who wander are lost.
.com.